Hi, hello, how's it going? My name is Liz, and you're watching for Booking Out Loud. Rating books can be very subjective and personal to everyone, so today I just wanted to go over my personal rating system so you can better understand how I sort and review books on my channel. So let's start on my scale. My scale goes from a 1-star to a 5-star scale, just like Goodreads. Now, a 3-star book is typically a good book. There's nothing particularly horrible with it, in my opinion. But on the other end, there's nothing particularly show-stopping with this book either. I would look at the book and probably not pick it up again. But that doesn't mean I wouldn't recommend it to someone else if I knew they really liked the genre. An example that I have for a 3-star book is Miles Morales' Spider-Man by Jason Reynolds. I thought it was a decent book. I don't think it's Jason Reynolds' best work, but I wouldn't deny that someone else would be all over it if they loved superhero books or if they also loved Jason Reynolds' work. So I wouldn't reread it again, but I wouldn't deny someone else would be in love with it. Now let's skip ahead to 5-star books. These are the books that are the best of the best. I probably had a very, very good emotional reaction to this book, and they're more than likely some of the best books I read that year. They typically had something that really stood out for them, and I reviewed them as a 5-star because I will always pick them up again. An example of a 5-star read is Uzumaki by Junji Ito. It is a horror manga book, and I kid you not, I could not put that book down. It is over 600 pages long, and it had me on the edge of my seat that I finished it in 2 days. I've had nightmares since I've read that book, and the way Junji Ito just kept you churning each page to find out what the mystery was, what the next horror element of this book was absolutely memorizing. I will always recommend this book from now on, and I'm so excited to read other works by Junji Ito. It is hands down one of the best books I have read this year, and it might be one of the best books I've ever read. But that is why it is a 5-star book to me. I had an emotional reaction. It kept me on the edge of my seat. It is probably one of the best horror novels I've ever read. And that's what makes it a 5-star. Now, as opposed to a 5-star and a 3-star, you have a 4-star. I look at a 4-star as something that didn't quite make it up to that 5-star element. Yes, it was still a great book in my opinion. However, I didn't quite have that emotional reaction. I didn't quite have that edge of my seat suspense wanting to finish it. So a 4-star book is good. It just wasn't the best book I've ever read. And I would still highly recommend it and highly encourage people to pick it up. It just wasn't the best of the best tier. An example I've had recently of a 4-star book is called The Last 15 Lives of Harry August by Claire North. It was a sci-fi mystery novel, and it was really good. I enjoyed it immensely, and I would highly recommend it to others. But there was just elements about the book that kept it from being that top tier book from this year. I wasn't on the edge of my seat. I didn't want to know the ending adventure of it, but it was still good. It just didn't quite reach the best of the best to me. Now, I want to jump down to a 1-star novel. These novels are typically a did not finish or DNF for me, which doesn't happen often, or I just really did not like the book. I would never recommend it to anyone. I would never pick it up again. I would return it. I would give it away. There was just something wrong about this book to me. An example of a 1-star novel is Spellmonger by Terry Moncour. Now, it's an epic novel. I was so excited to love it. However, I just couldn't get through it. I tried to read it 3 times and it just kept dragging and dragging. It wasn't anything about the novel in particular. The writing was fine. The characters were fine, I guess, but to me personally, all the descriptions and the time jumps just did not work for me. And part of the reason might have been because I was reading it through audio, but that's one 1-star novel. Now, 2 stars is again between a 3-star and a 1-star. They're decent books. I don't know if I'd recommend them to anyone, but they're not quite the level of hatred to me as a 1-star. I probably finished them, but they're not recommendation worthy. And I don't think I would pick them up again to try to reread them in order to like them later on. An example of a 2-star novel that I've read recently is called What If It's Us? It was a young adult romance novel, and it had a lot of great elements, but for me, it just kept dragging on and on and on, and it just could have ended a lot sooner. And I realized that was the premise of the story. Like, what if our fates are aligned? What if we're meant to be together? And honestly, that's why I gave it a 2-star. I feel like I've read the book a couple of times before, and I feel like it's been done a couple of times before, and it's been done better. And so, 2 stars. I don't think I would recommend it to anyone. So, how do I rate books? I finish that book, and I look at it, and I ask myself, was this a 3-star book? And if it was, I ask myself, was it a 5-star book? I take a look at the list of 5-star books from that year, and I ask myself, does this book compare to the other ones? And if it does, I give it that 5-star. If it didn't compare to the other 5-star books from that year, it goes down to 4, or maybe a 4.5. I have to admit, this style of rating does mean that each year can have a slightly different review system. If I have a year of amazing books and I just picked up great reads, it can be harder for books to get a 5-star rating. But this is a system that's worked for me for years. If you look on my Goodreads, this is a system I've been tracking my books on for the past 5 years or so. If you want to check any books that I've rated or just look me up, you can find me on Goodreads at For Booking Out Loud. Yes, this is a shameless plug. I'm in the description below. Nevertheless, I'm always looking for ways to improve, so if you have a different tracking system or book rating system, I'm always interested and I'm always willing to change. So how do you rate your books? Do you have a suggestion for me? Thank you for watching. If you're interested in more content from me, I post every Tuesdays and Fridays at 7 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. I hope you're staying safe and have a wonderful day. So my scale is a 1, 2, 3, blah, blah, blah. Now let's skip ahead to 5. Now let's skip Harry August by Claire North.